What is up, guys? So this is going to be my trailer breakdown for The Flash, Season 4, Episode 10, titled The Trial of the Flash. You might be thinking that I already did a trailer breakdown for this episode, and I did, but ever since then, the synopsis for the episode came out, and also an extended promo came out earlier, or yesterday. So, for all those reasons, I decided to make another one. I might decide to make another trailer breakdown for all the other shows if they release a extended version of the promo just like The Flash, but if they don't, then I probably won't, even though I haven't talked about the synopsis. So with all that in mind, let's get into the trailer breakdown. But before the breakdown, let's watch the trailer.
My name is Barry Allen, and I'm an innocent man. I'm being framed for something that I didn't do.
He stood among us, a wolf in sheep's clothing.
You're gonna plant evidence?
It's the right thing to do, Ralph. Just open the door, I'll do the rest.
If I testify, I have to lie. I become exactly who they think I am.
Then don't lie. Tell everyone you're the Flash.
If everyone knew my secret, we would never be able to stop running.
The Flash returns with an all-new episode Tuesday, January 16th on the CW.
So like the title and the promo suggests, this is going to be the trial of the Flash, which is a famous storyline. It's one of the most famous Flash storylines from the comics. I talked about it in my last trailer breakdown. I talked about it a lot, but it's been a while since then. It's been like 2 weeks, so I can talk about it a little bit more. The trial of the Flash is basically Barry was framed, or he accidentally killed Reverse Flash. He wasn't framed. He accidentally killed Reverse Flash right or during his wedding, not with Iris, with somebody else. And during the wedding, he accidentally killed the Reverse Flash, and he was put to trial for it. It's not the same thing here, because here he didn't kill anybody. He was framed by the Thinker for killing Clifford DeVoe. So it's not the same thing, but it's clearly inspired by the trial of the Flash. I actually predicted that this will happen this season, that Barry will be framed for murder a while back. I made a theory video about it. Click in the top right corner for the video. But the reason I thought that he will be framed for murder has a lot of layers to it. First of all, in the season 1 finale, I'm pretty sure it was then and not when it was either then or when he ran to Earth 2. He saw his past, present, and future, a lot of visions. He saw Connor Hawke, he saw the Flash Museum, he saw Killer Frost, he saw the Legends of Tomorrow, he saw a lot of things, but they all came true. All the things that we haven't seen yet, it all came true except for two things. The Flash Museum, which we will probably definitely see either this season or in the future, season 5, 6, or 7, or 8, we will see it. The other thing that we haven't seen yet is Barry in prison talking on a phone through the glass. Now, the reason I thought that it will happen this season is because in the season 4 premiere, the premiere came out and there was this whole scene of Barry talking crazy talk, saying some random things, but it was pretty clear that he was saying, just like when he ran through time, saying things that will happen in his past, present, and future. He said things that happened in the season 1 pilot. He said things that happened that I don't remember what else, but he also said things from the future. He talked about diapers and how there are not enough of them, hinting at the Tornado Twins, or maybe even Joe's twins or something, whatever he's gonna have. But another thing he said is that I didn't do it, Your Honor, I didn't do it, I'm innocent, or Your Honor, I didn't do it, I didn't kill him, or something like that, which made me think he's probably talking about somebody. I didn't know that he was going to be framed for killing the Thinker. That was something that I didn't even imagine, but I definitely thought it was going to be a part of Thinker's plan to frame him for murder, because Barry's saying he didn't kill anybody, and he's talking to a judge. So he's obviously on trial, which is why I totally predicted the trial of the Flash. Now, that's a short summary of the theory video. Click on the top right corner for the actual video, and it'll take you right to it. So the synopsis reads, and it's a pretty short synopsis. It's only like one sentence long, and it doesn't really give me much to talk about, but either way, here we go. As Barry's trial for the murder of Clifford DeVoe begins, Iris and Joe must decide how far they're willing to go to keep Barry out of prison. So like I said, it's a really short synopsis, not much to talk about. It's very straight to the point. But the second part of the sentence, Iris and Joe must decide how far they're willing to go to keep Barry out of prison, that is something to talk about, because what are those things that they're going to do? We saw Joe planting evidence in the Clifford DeVoe in their house, which is something that's pretty interesting. I'll talk about that in a second. And then Iris, I'm not 100% sure what she's gonna do I'm not 100% sure what they're doing for her to show how far she is willing to go, other than the fact that she might convince Barry to lie at the testimony that they were talking about in the trailer. But other than that, I'm not really sure. So that's the Iris thing, but what about Joe? What will they do to show how he decides how far he's going to go, willing to keep Barry out of prison? Well, you can see in the trailer that Joe is planting evidence in the Clifford DeVoe household, which is something that's very interesting to me for a couple of reasons, but the main one being that Ralph Dibny is with him. I think it's a pretty crazy choice to take Ralph Dibny with you when you're planting evidence. Maybe they need his stretchy powers to open the door or something, which is probably true because Joe tells him, open the door and I'll do the rest, which means that Joe probably can't open the door, which means that he needs Ralph's stretchy powers to either make a key with his finger or reach into the house to get the key or something like that, but probably to make a key with his finger. That's my prediction. They're going to make Ralph Dibny make a key with his finger and open the Clifford DeVoe household door, which is why Joe isn't opening it himself. But the thing that's interesting to me with this whole thing is that the fact that Ralph Dibny is there with him. So back in episode 4, if you don't remember, we learned Ralph Dibny's whole backstory. We learned that he used to be a detective on the CCPT, which is the Central City Police Department, and he was kicked off because he planted evidence on a crime, on a suspect or something like that. Now, the reason he did that is because he knew he was guilty and he was getting away with it, which is basically almost the same thing they're doing right here, which it's like the opposite, basically. They know he's innocent, but he's not getting away with it, so Joe is planting evidence on Clifford DeVoe, who he knows is guilty but is getting away with it because basically he died, but not really. So I'm pretty interested in seeing how Ralph Dibny will react to the fact that Joe is doing the same thing, and Joe is on the CCPD now, and Joe is doing the same thing that Ralph Dibny got kicked off the CCPD for with Ralph. That's something that I'm super interested in seeing later this January in this episode when it comes out. Because in episode 4, whenever we heard Ralph Dibny talking about his past, it was actually pretty compelling. Ralph Dibny, I forgot his name, but the actor was a pretty great actor in that episode. After that, he wasn't that great. He was fine, but in that episode, he was really great, especially when he was talking about his backstory and how he got kicked off the CCPD for basically doing the right thing, according to him, which is debatable, but it was still pretty compelling. Now, the fact that he is witnessing Joe do the same thing and getting away with it is something that I'm excited to see. It's something that I'm very excited to see in this episode. I'm excited to see that whole dynamic with Ralph Dibny and the planting of the evidence with Joe. The two biggest questions to come out of this episode and this promo is that, 1, will Barry's identity be revealed to the public, and 2, will he be convicted of the crime and arrested or put to jail? He was already arrested. So to the identity thing, I say no. For the same thing I said in my last trailer breakdown, is because this is the CW. They have 23 episodes to fill up. They can't do that with only one storyline. They're going to have a secondary storyline, which is the more relatable human, normal life storyline every single superhero has. It's a staple of superhero comics, TV shows, and movies, and sometimes they reveal the identity, but on the CW, I don't think they will ever do that because they have to fill up 23 episodes of TV, or at least for The Flash and Arrow, and they can't do that, or it'll be very difficult to do that without the side story, the more relatable, drama-filled human life story that Barry has. And as for whether or not do I think he will be arrested, he was already arrested, whether or not he will be found guilty or innocent, I say he will be found guilty. I don't know if it will be in this episode or episode 11 or 12, but it will be in one of the episodes. He has to be found guilty for a little bit because of the vision that he saw in the season 1 finale. He's not going for trial there. He's in prison. He's gone. He's guilty. Now, the difference between this and the identity thing is that this could be a lot more easily erased. The only way to erase the identity thing is to travel in time and erase it, but that's not possible. It's possible, but they're not going to do that because people are sick of time travel on this show. I know I am, especially after season 3. Now, the being in jail thing, Barry can easily either run away, although that will bring up some other issues about the identity thing. He'll be on the run all the time. But what they can do is prove him innocent later in the season, like in episode 14 or 15. That's always a possibility. That's the main reason I know for a fact he will be found guilty because of the vision we saw in season 1, episode 23. But that's the main reason I think it won't be a problem. It won't be the same problem as the identity thing. So, what do you think about the trailer? Let me know in the comments down below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.